Alrighty, Red Riders, welcome back. We have the whole gang here for Slim and Bones. I am Devo, and we are the Red Corner, your all year long Phillies podcast. Boys, we got a busy one tonight. Very busy, I would say. So, as you can recall, going back to last year, right? We're on the hunt to Red October. There's topics more to jump into. But you remember last year, right, boys? What was the theme going into the playoffs? This Phillies baseball team has been basically a 500 team for months.
Right. That's where you're going.
Let's talk about this Phillies baseball team right now. So going back the last 2 months, we're going to call it 15 series, right? We lost this series, but here's the good news. We won 6 straight series, and dating back to the last 15 series, we won 11. So this Phillies baseball team right now is a lot different than it was in the past. So anything to jump in on that, Slim? I see you over there.
I do want to jump in because I'm with you. But you're talking about a baseball team that did not play like that this weekend.
Right.
So with that being said, we have to be careful. You don't want to get into a funk for a little week here, then have time off, and then have that old school wild card team come and bite you or something like that. You want to keep the energy high. It's good. Hopefully, maybe we get Turner back. Maybe we get a series at full strength. A couple simulation type things.
Absolutely.
But this is a tough job for Topper right now because he has to. They got to show. They got to show a little bit of life this next week and not ease into the playoffs. I don't want to see that because I didn't really love what I saw this weekend. I didn't love what I saw defensively. I didn't love the hitting. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm a little bit more cautious than I was on Thursday.
I completely get that. And here's the thing. Speaking of being not, taking our foot off the gas pedal, right now the Phillies are all but cemented into that second seed, right? So we're going to have the bye, knock on wood, 99% was the odds I saw. So let's just have this podcast tonight with the assumption that we're going to have that. But, gentlemen, I've already buried the lead. But before we get into Nicky podcast, honestly, this is the Nicky podcast. So if you are new here, Red Riders, please hit that subscribe button. Jump over to our other socials. We appreciate it. Slim's been an absolute workhorse with the Slim's walks. I want to give him a shout out. Anyone who checks Slim's socials, he does the Slim's walks. He always mentions to subscribe to the Red Corner, and those numbers have been firing off. So please, guys, jump into that subscribe button. Guys, Nick Castellanos, this has been a soap opera like no other, right? And Slim, I see you making a weird face over there. You all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you could hear me. Sorry.
No,
you're throwing me off. So, Nick Castellanos, we saw what happened on Friday night, right? The first game of this series. He had a hell of a game. He hit his 250th home run. He had a 3 RBI night. He goes into the postseason. I'm really excited. The post-game press conference. I'm really excited to talk about this because I think we're all going to be all over the place. Let's start with you on this, Bones. Where are you at on this interaction?
So we all know, like, all of his post-game interviews and press conferences, he's always like weird, short answers, like direct to the point.
Yeah.
And I think in the initial one with Fransky and Amaro, I think they were trying to like include the 250, like, and then just like how hard was it to get there, and then like you got like certain fans and all bashing the way they were asking the questions. They should have been more talking about his 250th home run, but they can't get away from the elephant in the room where he hasn't played much. So we probably could have had 250 weeks ago if he was playing every day, but he didn't. So this is the situation we're at. They're trying to include all that. I think they did a good job trying to include that. Now you get to the post game, like in clubhouse interview, I think it was different. They were asking him like questions, basically repeating the same question over and over again, just in different forms. And I think that's where like his family and his wife and all are getting pissed off for that stuff. But which that media is a little weird. The ones are in the locker room, but I think the Fransky and Amaro one, I think that was perfectly fine. I'm on their side, but the other ones, they can get a little weird with that stuff, and repeating the question. So he's just comes off like a dick. Like he's out of here. He knows it. Um, and I'm just tired of his family getting involved. Like he's got to come out and say, like, let me deal with it. You guys can like shut up, please. Like you are making it worse than what it is. That's my take on it.
It seems like Bones thinks Nick Castellanos is a weirdo. I don't think he's a weirdo.
He is a weirdo.
I don't think he's weird. I think he's an egomaniac, and he's been an egomaniac since he got here. I remember the first season we got him. He had a walk-off hit, and he had the post game with Fransky, and I guess they were feeling each other out. But that interview with Fransky reminded me of that first walk-off hit he had the first season he was with us. It was just very standoffish. And then the second thing is the timeline. All right, so you have the exchange in the broadcast booth, and then when it goes back to the locker room, that was where you cry foul. Even though I would say Fransky and stuff was awkward as well. I don't think they did a great job. Like Bones says, he thought it was fine. I don't think who says, oh, you would have had 250 a month ago. I know he hit the last home run like August 16th or 18th or something, but they wouldn't say that to nobody else. And Nick Castellanos, he didn't even know because the first question was, did you know? He said no, not until my teammates told me. Then it was cool, So yeah, I thought it was super duper. Yeah, it was cringe. I thought it was cringe from a broadcast team that's usually very, very good. I think they're the best in the business. I guess it's Fransky was in the booth that night, though, right? So that was a little difference there.
Correct.
Right? So that's a little, maybe I'm not going to comment too much on that, but yeah, just a little bit different. And then really shocking is Zalecki, because Zalecki's the Phillies guy. He's on the Phillies show with Ruben Amaro Jr., so his podcast mate was with Fransky, and then he's poking the bear. And then I remember something. If you go back, didn't Salisbury have a little issue with
First
right?
year?
So odd to seem like corporate sending their minions after you in those ways. Yeah, he won't be here next year. Hopefully, he can get a World Series, and it'll be very Burrell-esque. It'll be great to see Nick. He will get the biggest standing ovation, or one of, if we win the World Series. I think he's going to have a few moments. He came through again today. So, but he's going to have those moments because we love the comeback story. We love all that.
All right, so a couple of things there. So actually, this might be a little bit more boring than I thought because we're more aligned, and you both completely made the same distinction that I was going to make. So kudos to you guys. The initial post-game interview with Ruben Amaro and Fransky, I agree. I thought that was fair. I thought when it started to get a little bit amateur hour, completely, look what you just said, Slim, post-game, this goes back. I put this on our socials. This goes back to years ago. Castellanos was struggling. He developed that contentious relationship with the media, right? Jim Salisbury's interviewing, and he asks what I contended was a bullcrap question back then. He asked Castellanos, who was in an all-time slump, did you hear the boos out there?
Right.
Which is a real
that was the
twist
one.
the
Did you hear
dagger
the
question
boos out there?
Yeah, that's a real twist the knife question. And Castellanos got pissed, and he said, that's a stupid question. And then Jim was stepping up saying, it's not a stupid question. So this goes back. So we all know that he's not the fan. Yeah, clown, there's the chat. Clown question, bro.
That was a stupid question by Salisbury.
It's a stupid question.
Like I said, I enjoy all these. I enjoy the Phillies. I love the Phillies. I don't like to see when the family's fighting like this.
No, you don't like to see when the family's fighting, but and then Slim, you mentioned it was Zalecki. So these are probably some of the biggest three names.
Yeah, they're the biggest ones.
Matt Gelb. So don't make it a spectacle, right? This guy's struggling. Don't make it personal. He's been demoted to a platoon player. You're going to ask him if he's unhappy again for the 100th time. You're going to ask him if he's disappointed for the 100th time. This is where I said that Gelb really showed his ass because he said, "Oh, well, you mentioned in the Mookie Betts podcast that how you feel about this, so you already know that. So what are you trying to do, dude?"
Yeah, and Gelb, that was the other name. That was the other guy, right?
Yeah. So
if you look at Amaro, that was probably the only awkward thing in the initial conversation with me, or with for me, was the way Amaro facial expressions were, like, as Castellanos was giving answers. He just looked like, I just pictured like him acting as a GM was like, yeah, this dude's out of here. Just the way he's talking, like he wouldn't be happy as a GM with the way Nikki was answering these questions.
Right. And which we have to bring up that, and then before I mentioned that, Bones, I see in the chat Lehigh Sky High. Welcome to the chat. Are there any new giveaways? Yes, so we'll do a giveaway tonight, Lehigh. So all you got to do is the best question in the chat. Slim and Bones will pick the winner tonight. So welcome to the chat. Welcome Ryan A, and welcome Willie D. Get Slim.
Nick Castellanos, I'll tell you what, I've been one of his harshest critics. The people that are dragging him now, you should have been doing it, like I said, years ago, potentially. I think where he's at now is a great spot for him, a great spot for the team. And the big point being, he's been giving great answers. He's like, what's the hardest part? When he said, oh, when you get the text message and you're not in the lineup, so that was a great visual answer. And then we act like he's not like participating in, what would you, the because the players hate the press. They hate having to do that stuff, and he's still giving pretty sincere answers. And then, yeah, I don't know, like it's just kicking. It's just not worth it, especially because we're trying to win a World Series.
We're trying to win a World Series, but the one thing that I do think and pardon me if you guys mentioned this, but when he kind of threw Topper under the bus with his stating that the communication hasn't been great, that was the one thing I could have done without. Right? Don't make any drama in the clubhouse. To your point, Slim, we're going on a World Series run, so that was the one thing I did not love to see.
Yeah, but you know me, a couple years ago with the Topper criticisms, I used to be the opposite where I am now. I used to be the one that people wondering why he's not blowing up when Bohm's hitting the balls fair.
Right.
I'm wondering why he's not pulling Castellanos out. And now it seems like
Uh-oh.
Seems like you're frozen.
Yeah, it seems like you're frozen.
Cold-blooded. He seems like he's Mr. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I seem now that Topper's cold-blooded, like Mr. Right? Mr. Analytical, making the decisions. He's not because before he was a player's coach, and he's not a player's coach anymore. I don't think anybody would say that right now.
So two things on that. One, in regards to Castellanos and that, Topper kind of covered both ends to where he was like about the communication thing and talking, and he kind of covered his own ass too. And when he said it's a two-way street when it comes to the communication part,
I heard that.
So it's kind of like a little dig at him too. And then the other thing, we'll see how ballsy Topper is when he doesn't play Aaron Nola come the playoffs. That's where we'll see if his balls come out.
Good call.
Oh, you don't think they're going to play Aaron Nola? Look at you guys. You guys are trying to jeopardize. First off, you guys are cursing up a storm. You're talking about your whatever. Nola's going to start. Nola looked fine. They put him in the sixth, and that was a Topper's fault. They should have pulled him in the fifth. So don't blame Nola for a Topper decision there, Bones. Okay?
What we got.
We'll get into that. But let's oh, geez, the chat is crazy tonight. We will get into that. All right, boys. Speaking of the Diamondbacks earlier, let's discuss that. So, Slim, start off with you. Give me your main takeaways from that Diamondback series. Obviously, the Phillies lose 2 or 3 to the Diamondbacks.
Okay. I was upset because I truly forgot that after that Dodgers series that we weren't coming back to the East Coast. So we had to make sure we don't get sleep paralysis or nothing. We got to get a good night's sleep. We got off tomorrow, and then we had to get ready and prep ourselves for the playoffs, and we got to get fully healthy and keep the intensity going. Schwarber should have his personal goals of trying to get to 58. These guys, I want to see high energy still. So that's my thing. I don't want to see us winning games 1-0, 2-1, yada yada yada. And there's a couple guys who in the bullpen that I'm not sure should be sniffing. I'm talking about Kirkland, man. He's a guy who, at this point, I don't know what do we do with him. because he looks like he's terrible. I don't trust him doing anything. And what I mean by that is how much do we use them, right? And do we use them in high level situations this next week, or do we just completely forget about it? Because I'm at the point where I completely forget about it in any situation with this guy.
So my big takeaway was Ranger Suarez. His start today, he got hit around, and I mean they were teeing the ball up. He wasn't hitting the spots, throwing balls right down the middle. Not a good look going into the weekend, week away from or 2 weeks from the playoffs, and that's going to be our number 2
Right.
for the playoffs. So that was my takeaway. And then the other takeaway was the way Friday night. Walker pitched good. Outside of that first inning, he got, what did he give you, 4? And then they had to piggyback with Walker Buehler, and he pitched well. And doing the same thing, just hitting the spots, locating the ball low in the zone. So good for me going into the playoffs with him. One more start at that, and then it's going to be like a week off, and then we'll see where he goes. Like, he'll be in the bullpen, see how to use him in that situation. So
My
other than
worry,
that, it's fine with me.
my worry meter with Ranger is at a 0. He'll get one more start. He could get rocked that start, and I would still feel confident in Ranger going and being able to give us 5 to 6 innings of 3 or less runs that game, 100%. Yeah, so I'm confident with our starting pitching. So I'm just hoping that we're hitting still, that Bader can stay hot, that we figure out roles for these guys, that Marsh, Castellanos, and Kepler can start hitting, because Castellanos was the hottest out of those 3 this weekend. And I mean, he was the worst so far this season. So, these things in baseball, things flip like a hat.
Flip like a hat. Is that a saying?
Yeah, when you have a top hat and you flip it on.
Okay. I guess in that sense you could say flip like anything, right?
Yeah.
I like it though. Flip like a hat. Let's add that to the Red Corner lexicon. All right, so Bones. So I checked off a couple of my takeaways when you were going through them, because I had the same exact thing. So that Ranger was rocked. The defense and IQ overall was shaky today, right?
Right. The defense is bad.
The piggyback experiment, I would say, worked, right? Between Walker Buehler and Taiwan, like you said, they gave us 7 2/3, 5 Ks and 2 earned runs. You can't ask for much more out of them, too. Bohm back and looked good. I think he had 3 or 4 extra base hits over the weekend. Love to see that. So he completely, took the baton there and looked great. Corbin Carroll absolutely crushed us. So let's hope that doesn't bite us in the you-know-what in the future. And then the last thing, I had the Nola, we'll call it the one shining light on this one, is he avoided the big inning, but he gave us a more cumulative, right? So he gave us the 4 through 6, but he avoided that 5 or 6 run inning. So, hey, we'll take that as a positive.
Yeah, the way I looked at it was I was happy to see him go 5, and then we put him back out there, and it ended up being, 3 runs that inning? I'm not sure. But I'm fine. Like I said, I'm not worried about the starting pitching. Ranger Suarez, he's either going to hit his spots or he's not going to hit his spots, and that's going to be that game. Sanchez is good. Nola, I'm worried about, if we're going to be talking about piggybacking, Walker. If Walker is getting, if we're hoping Walker is going to be giving us 3 to 4 innings or even more somehow, in a relief role or in a starting role, I think that's worrisome. So that's the dude I would be worried about if he's actually getting
in the
serious.
picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's the worst one. That's why.
I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of people out there that think that he might not even make the postseason roster. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
And to answer your point earlier, I don't think he had a 3-run inning going back to Nola. I think he had the 1 2-run spot, and then actually your boy Banks let up an inherited run for him at the end there.
Yeah, he came in a tough spot. It could have been worse for both
It was
of them.
no, for sure, absolutely. He only let up one. All right. Anything else on the D-backs?
Stewie, what's up with Kemp? Because, like you said, we talked about the defense. We saw the D-backs today, and that's another thing. When you watch a team like the D-backs play defense, holy heck! Like their shortstop and third baseman were making great plays. Alexander and the other dude.
Yeah.
And then we got guys like Kemp out there. I know it was a Sunday game, but you're right. It doesn't seem like our infield's tight. Even Bryce Harper, I would say, at first base, doesn't seem like he's as good as he was a year or so ago.
He's in a little bit of a slump with the pick and the ball right now, I've noticed.
And that's worrisome. You know, that becomes, especially in these tight games, because everything's going to matter. And with the pitching, you know, we don't have Wheeler and Sanchez. We have Suarez. We have, you said, Bueller, Nola, Luzardo. These dudes, if they're putting things in play,
right?
Let's field them. Let's field it.
Yeah.
Who was in our group chat saying Otto Kemp better than Bohm? That wasn't the guy I'm looking at to my right?
Me? I think Otto
That was a real text I seen, right?
I believe the actual text
I'll say it again.
was Otto Kemp greater than sign.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and now he's saying no.
Yeah.
Double. I'm not saying no. I'm saying I'm defending it right now. You got to open your ears. Doubles and home runs. It's called slug. It's what we wish Bohm had.
So here's the thing about Kemp. I don't want to see him in the infield in any postseason game, number one. Number two, it looks like that Edmundo's coming back Tuesday. So that will probably limit his infield looks in general. So we'll see how that goes.
And Bones, two things with Bones. You see this dude's hypocrisy. He's Mr. I don't care about defense. I don't care about defense. Now look, he's trying to defend Bohm. Then Bohm comes back, and what have we done? We lost. We won when Bohm was out the lineup.
And Bohm didn't have a good defensive weekend either, actually. Like he looked rough today, and he looked rough on Friday. I believe he dropped the ball he should have caught.
If there's people on base, who would you rather have up? Kemp or Bohm?
Bohm.
I'll go Kemp. I'll go Kemp.
Okay, Jake.
Yeah.
I'll go
All
Kemp.
right, so let's talk about some more important stuff here, guys. Cereal. So a couple Red Riders were jumping in our DMs, and this weird cereal debate came up. So let's go down memory lane, and I want to hear in chat. Let us know your top five. We're going to start with Bones here. Give me your top five cereals. Let's put health completely out the window here. What do you got for us, Bones?
All right, 1 through 5. I don't really eat cereal much, so just gives me a little bubble guts in the morning. I'll come out and say it. Too early for me with that. But I'll go with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Apple Jacks,
okay,
Wheaties,
okay,
Raisin Bran,
okay, old school,
and Fruit Loops.
That's a pretty good list. All right, what do you got, Slim?
Oh, I'm gonna go Frosty Flakes,
Okay,
Sugar Smacks, Golden Grams, Cocoa Pebbles, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
that's a pretty good. Say your first one again, please.
Frosted Flakes.
Okay.
Frosty Flakes.
Yeah, he said Frosty Flakes. I was hoping he said Frosty again. But he corrected himself. All right, so a lot of we're online here. A lot of overlap here. So I went number 1, peanut butter Captain Crunch. Number 2, Fruity Pebbles. Number 3, Lucky Charms. Number 4, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And number 5, Frosted Flakes.
Any cereal that destroys your mouth, like the Cocoa Puffs, the Reese Puffs, the one you named, I was out on those ones. There were so many cereals that, like, the roof of your mouth just would not survive.
Oh, I see what you're saying, because they're like crunchy, right?
Yeah.
No, that's a rookie move.
Captain Crunch. That was the other one you said.
All right, so we got some love in the chat for Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cocoa Pebbles, Smacks, Golden Grams, and Oreos. Those Oreos that's a dessert right there, brother.
And if you wait for your cereal to get soggy, that's disgusting.
Okay.
You need fresh cereal. Do not let it get soggy. If you're one of these people who eats soggy cereal, that don't. Ugh.
So what is your milk to cereal ratio? How full you going?
I do a huge bowl of cereal with a
Okay.
ton of cereal. I probably eat a regular box is probably like 3 bowls, 3 to 4 bowls
A regular box is 3
of
bowls.
cereal.
But so
Yeah,
you didn't answer my question at all. How much? That's the second time you did it this podcast. We'll talk
Right.
about the second time after the podcast. But
So I would say
yeah,
half a gallon of milk, over a half a gallon of milk for a box of cereal. I eat a box of cereal and probably 3, and it probably 3 to 4 bowls.
Bones, can you answer that question, please?
I give like a little splash.
Okay,
Not
so
much.
You go low on the milk.
Yeah,
I go high.
Yeah.
I go high.
I got you.
I eat close to a box of cereal in a sitting. In 2 sittings, about the cereal's gone. The milk is going to be probably 75% of a gallon of milk I drink.
75% of a gallon of milk.
I'll do a baked bowl of cereal.
So
And
you'll
if I'm hungry, I'll roll.
you'll put 75% of 1 gallon of
No.
milk for one bowl.
No. I'll
That's
put
what you just said.
No, and it's not what I said. It's not what I
okay.
said.
For the week, for his
the
box.
For the week. For my
Okay,
box.
I'm sorry.
That's still
Got
a
it.
lot.
Yeah. That is. All right. Well, listen, I knew I was talking to cereal pros here. So that's and then the last question. Any other cereal things you want to go on before we move on to that?
Yeah, smacks are disgusting.
Oh, they're awesome. I don't. Are they still?
I'm not
out?
a Smacks guy.
Oh, they were awesome.
Yeah, I'm not a Smacks guy. So we have
it's
Shane
sad.
R in the chat. Get it, Slim.
It's sad to see the texture of the cereal. Like a good example of this is Twix. The Twix no longer has all the colorful textures. It's all circles. So they're really messing up the cereal game when it comes to what the cereal looks like and what's happening on the boxes. I used to turn those boxes around. It would have a word search, all types of awesome stuff, and it's just completely gone. I had I don't know if box tops are still a thing or not.
Yeah, those are games were fun. And so let's go to the chat here. Getting a lot of good activity. Willie D saying, number 1, Cocoa Puffs. 2, Fruity Pebbles. 3, Raisin Bran. Crunch. Nice distinction. 4, Fruit Loops. And 5, Lucky Charms. Shane R is saying at this age, he's doing half a box in a big-ass mixing bowl. Wow. All right. God bless you there. And Ryan A in the chat saying, will Slim answer how much milk he uses per bowl of cereal by the end of this podcast?
That's a ridiculous question. It's a ridiculous question. I was trying to actually make it make sense.
Slim, I mean, Ryan A, that's a great question.
It's a ridiculous question.
I was trying. How is that a ridiculous question? That's the only question.
How much milk do you use in your cereal, Devin?
I go about 50%.
Okay, in the bowl. All right.
Yeah.
I go more. I go 75% of the bowl.
Yeah.
I go 75% of the bowl.
Yeah, a little bit about 50%.
I spill on the carpet as I walk around the house with a full bowl of cereal.
All right, so I have one other food topic, and then we'll go on to feel the love. So, and this is going to be a tough one for you guys to answer. What is that food that you can't stop eating? When it's that munchie in front of you, where it's you just keep on grazing. So some examples, obviously chips and dip, different types of like buffalo chicken dip, all that type of stuff. So what is your personal thing that you can't walk away from?
There's only one answer. If you have these out, it's M&Ms. If there's M&Ms,
that's a good one.
If there's M&Ms out of someone's house, all right, you take 1, you take 2, then it's gone. You refill it and it's gone. You refill it and it's gone. I can't believe there's houses that have M&Ms out. Like I can't believe it because not any Slims, not in my house.
That's a really good one. What do you got for us, Bones?
So they switch it up like every season, right? It's the little Reese's peanut butter things. Like for Halloween, they'll have like a pumpkin. Christmas, they'll have the Christmas trees. Easter, they'll have the little rabbits. It's a little Reese's peanut butter.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
they're not like the cups. It's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the holiday shape. It's like a puff. I got you.
Oh yeah, them things.
Right.
I'll tell you,
they're a little bit more filled. Those ones.
Right, you're getting a large peanut butter ratio. Yeah. So mine is, and shout out Willie D in the chat. The pretzel. What are they called? Niblets. believe they're called the Nuggets, the Philadelphia Pretzel Factory little nugget trays.
Oh
So
yeah,
those, they
absolutely.
kill me. I can't walk away from them. So that's mine.
The vanilla ice them ones. You just get a whole
Yeah,
dip of vanilla ice. They got
that
chocolate ice and vanilla ice. Then
some good ones in the chat. Bags of Doritos, Cheez-Its. And Ryan A said he agrees with Bones. He's changing his to those Reese cups.
the Reese cups are good.
Yeah, they're dangerous.
All right, so we're going to change here. Just full disclosure, I'm going to have to reconfigure the screens. So bear with me for a second. Let me get this going here for us. There we go. That was easy. All right,
Yes, sir.
perfect. So, Red Riders, you know who our official brewing partner is. It's Love City Brewing. Every single tailgate, all we do is drink Love City lagers. All of our watch parties are at Love City's awesome brewery location at 1023 Hamilton Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And stay tuned because we're going to have some exciting watch parties come Red October. Slim, who you feeling the love for this week, brother?
My feel of love is for the old ball coach. It's for Topper, man. Again, I had this dude all planned out wrong. I thought he was a player's coach, and now I would never say he's a player coach. And Nick Castellanos fully, to me, endorsed that and changed that. Uh, I'm excited to see what he does with the outfield. He's been pressing all the right buttons. I don't know what's going to happen these next 6 days. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see, does he solidify that situation. So I'm all in on Topper. I don't think he's going to win Manager of the Year like you, Devo, but I
Okay.
think he's going to end up winning a World Series here. I want to get out early on it, and after he wins the World Series, I think he's going to stay here for a while. So I think, yeah, I think he's a legend. I think he's going to be a legend.
I love it. Bones.
My feel of love for this week is Walker Bueller. I mean, I did the segment on him, the quick segment on him a couple weeks ago before his first start, or last week before his first start. And since then, he's going 8 2/3, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, 7 hits, and he's given up 1 run in them 2 games. And first game he's starting this one we talked about how he piggyback off time on Walker, and that's where I think we're going to need him out of the bullpen, big role in a long relief situation possibly, or in a big spot coming into the game. And he has that experience come the playoffs. And we talked about that with the 19 innings pitched in the World Series. So he has pedigree coming out of the bullpen. So
Big time.
that's my thing. He came here to do a job, and he's doing it so far, and he's looking to gain that last spot in the roster for the playoffs.
Love it. So going back to yours, Slim, was that Topper's first one? He's definitely has less than 3.
Yeah, I think it might be. It might be.
So shout out to you for bringing that out.
And I even saw today he was actually hanging on the fence a little bit, chirping. There's something about Arizona that they have our number.
It's that desert heat.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. They kicked our butts here. They came to Philly and kicked our butts. Carroll.
They're fast, man.
Dude,
and it's when they rush you on every defensive play, and that brings the worst out of us.
Right. So, yeah, I think Topper knows that these guys are now a game out of the playoffs themselves.
Yeah.
So, so the D-backs get, I mean, whatever. I'm not going to go that far, but it was a good little test. It probably reminded us that we now need to reinforce those fundamentals. And again, that's what I'm looking to see what Topper does. Because like you said, the defense wasn't there, and we can't be going in with shaky defense. We need to get Turner back. We got Stott. So Stott will go back to second. Turner will come back to shortstop. And that's pretty strong from there.
No, it is. So yeah,
with
those
Bader
are
too. With Bader, so that should be solidified. Hopefully, we mentioned Harper and we mentioned Bohm at third. So
speaking of Bohm at third, I'm feeling the love for him right now. So he just came back from that shoulder injury. Every game that he's back, it seems like he's got a knock. He's had 3 extra base hits. He had a big homer the other day. So shout out to you, Alec Bohm. We need you over there. The team's better when Alec Bohm is in third. I know Slim is right now on this Otto Kemp love affair.
Yes.
But I believe firmly that this team is better with Alec Bohm at third. So going into October, I'm glad that he's going to have a little bit of a hot bat because honestly, guys, overall this has been a very disappointing year for Alec Bohm. Right? He's had very few big moments, and he's had very few long stretches of success. Right? So how many Alec Bohm weeks do you remember? Not that many. So it's been a very, I'll call, average-ish year for him. The power's been below that. So let's hope we can get a nice hot October from him because that would be a treat.
Well, and again, if it doesn't pull through, we already see not Nick. If it's not Nick Castellanos with the heat, it's usually Bohm. Bohm hasn't caught any heat this year on much things.
Good call.
If it happens in the postseason, we fall through, that's the name that's coming up because Bregman's going to be a free agent again. You already say you're hearing Slim. I'm a Kemp guy. I'm not going to say he should be starting third base. I don't think his defense is there, but I think the doubles and the home runs can't be thrown aside.
Now that's a good call. Like we'll have to explore that a little bit more. Like the Alec Bohm hate train was pretty quiet this year, right? So maybe we'll do.
He had that little stretch where he was acting like a baby for a couple weeks.
He did.
Throws the helmet.
Well, let's get back to Pepper here, and we got to go to
Pepper.
We got it. Don't worry, boys. We're just doing our little. We got our producer working the lines here. Don't worry. Don't you worry. But here we go, boys. Let's get into Pepper. So this is where we pepper Slim and Bones with some topics, and we'll start off this week with let's check in on that Walker Buehler conversation. Bones, start with you. Temperature check. Who's your fourth starter in the playoffs at this point?
If they're going to go with the fourth starter, I think they're going to go with that situation there. Do like the piggyback type of game.
Okay.
Just be like a shorter leash on Walker, and then go to Buehler after that. But yeah, I'm with that over Noah because he's not playing very well. He's not playing well.
You piggyback Taijuan Walker and Walker.
Yeah,
Buehler?
just the way they were doing that on Friday night. That's what I think they would do.
I would think most people would say they would do that with Nola at some level.
Yeah,
where you at on that, Slim?
Right. So I didn't. People were saying they love Topper. A lot of people were saying they love Topper doing the move. I wasn't totally there because I didn't think doing it with Walker made any sense because I don't think Walker is going to be the guy. I know he's been having a great year, a redemption season. I do think Buehler has a lot to offer us. So here's where I am at Buehler. If Sanchez or Suarez or Luzardo get in a funk and they can't get out of a certain inning, or even Nola in a game 2, right? So let's say you don't plan for Nola to get rocked, or let's say Nola gets in a real bad spot early and you want to pull him fast. You can have Buehler ready, and if not, Buehler then can maybe go if we have to use a fifth guy somewhere for some odd reason. But I would still try to keep it with, for me, Sanchez, Nola at home, and then those Suarez and Luzardo. With Buehler getting the next bite if something's wacky.
Okay. So you're just straight up give Nola the second start.
Yeah, give him the second start, and if he's
fourth starter would be Luzardo is your answer.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So fourth starter would be Luzardo. Give Nola a second start, and if Nola not piggyback him, but if Nola's looking bad, then you can bring Buehler in, and if not, you can have Buehler maybe even start a game in the fourth hole, or maybe in a fifth spot.
Okay.
If it needed.
No, I like it. So I would probably go with as of right now, all things being the same, I'd go a piggyback combination of Buehler and Nola. That's how I would run it out right now. And Slim, to go back to your point earlier, like saying how you didn't necessarily agree with them doing it with Taijuan and Buehler, I think it's more them trying to give Nola a chance to get his groove back, right? I think that's why they're giving him the start as opposed to putting him in a piggyback yet.
Well, here's the one thing. is why are we so enamored with Bueller not starting the game as a starter?
Well, so when I say piggyback, I'm not necessarily married to who's going to be the starter in that. I just think a combination of a short leash Nola start. That's where I'm leaning.
So I guess this is what it comes down to. Is there any chance we need to use 5 starters?
No.
Because there's going to be no chance of that.
Unless there's an injury.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Like if someone gets hurt in the middle of the series or something like that, and you got to use a different arm.
The Bueller spot to me is real interesting then. Because I would like him probably to start a game, and again, probably go for 4 or 5 innings, get him right out, just like I would with Nola. But having them come in relief, to me, no way with Nola. More so with Bueller, I'm a little bit more comfortable, but that's just a little wonky-ish, and I don't love it.
Understood. All right, so we'll keep on going back to that because that changes, by the week, right? After every start from these guys, we're kind of reevaluating this. So let's talk about the second Pepper topic here, and we'll start with you on this, Bones. The playoff picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, the Phils are the second seed with a bye, right? So they're not going to be in the wild card. The first series, the NLDS. The first wild card is the Dodgers versus the Reds and or Mets. The Reds right now hold the tiebreaker. So out of those 3 teams, who do you want to play the most, and kind of take this however you want to take it?
Who do I want to play the most? I want to play, I guess it would be Cincinnati, right?
Okay. Interesting.
And they're a younger team. They would be like the Phillies in 07, like how the Phillies won division in 07. They come in playoffs, get swept right out, right?
Right.
They're like an up and coming team. They had the potential to go places. They got good pitching. Starting with Hunter Green, and then Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo, and then you go like in their hitters, they got De La Cruz and guys like that, right? But he's batting like 6th. But they have the star power. Dodgers would be next on my list to play. Phillies have their number. They won like 12 games, 12 out of like 14 games against the Dodgers or something like that.
Ridiculous.
Which is like a crazy number. And they had their number this year and last year. And then least would be the Mets. Because if the Mets win 1 game here, and then we got to go up to that hellhole for some reason, I might as well just mark it over because for some reason they can't beat them up there.
We had to stop being cowards here at the red corner. We just swept the Mets. The Mets stink. The Mets they're one of the worst teams in baseball recently. I don't know why you're scared of the Mets. The team to be afraid of. I'm a coward too. The team to be afraid of is the Reds. If the Reds get in, you said it, Bones. You had the checklist. What makes a World Series contender? Starting pitching. Well, they got it in aces. They got the bats. They got one of the best players in baseball, De La Cruz. They're hungry, and they got one of the greatest managers of all time. It's not the Mets. The Mets are stale, and they stink. The team to worry about is the Reds. Game 1, you know who could equalize Sanchez? Hunter Green. You know who could absolutely outduel Nola or Suarez or Luzardo? Nick Lodolo. Okay? It's not the Mets. The Mets stink. Shake the Mets off. We just swept them. The team to worry about is the Reds, obviously the Dodgers. So I would go Reds, Dodgers, and I'm even going Diamondbacks, then the Mets.
So let's go back to our preseason predictions, where Slim laughed at me when I said that the Reds were going to be contenders for the playoffs.
Oh wow!
Let's go back to that, and he was all over the Mets all year.
Stop.
Let's go back to that. Let's clip that.
Bones, I got text messages where I say, "Yo, we can make a ton of money on the Reds. Should I do it?" And what do you say? Nah, they're not going to make it. And where are we at? Where are we now? Where are we now?
No, that's to win the pennant.
I'm reaping the benefits.
Is he doing spin zone right now?
I'm not doing spin zones. No, because the bet is to get them in there. That's the managed part. Once they're in, you win. I told you that, and you said in the text messages, I can go to receipts.
Yeah, save your money. They're not going to go to the World Series.
Nope, you said they're not making it.
Exactly.
Nope.
And that's what I just said.
He's saying the
Nope.
World Series. I mean, that's a different conversation.
Yeah,
Slim.
this ain't to get in the playoffs. This
No.
is to go to the World
Bones,
Series. He's talking
Bones
about
is
his
ignoring
bet.
the actual conversation because he's feeble-minded. He's ignoring the conversation.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm having a bigger
Well,
conversation.
was the conversation the World Series? Yes or no?
No, I said
It's to win the pennant.
no.
Excuse me.
Yeah, your bet's to win the pennant, not
That
to make the playoffs.
Bones.
Why would I bet it? Why would I bet a team if I don't think they're going to go to the World Series?
All right, let me explain it to you. Or should we wait till Slim Pickham's on? I can explain it to you for like the
Yeah,
1000th time.
let's wait
and then
till Slim
and then,
Pick'em.
and then I can show you in the text message where I explained it there too, Bones. How many times do I need to explain it to you is the question. How many times?
All right, guys, let's move on to the final topic of Pepper. Oh, well, my answer is the Reds. I want to play the Reds as well. So, agreed there. They do have two lefties, which scares me a little bit, but what are you going to do? You got to pick your poison. So, let's move on to the third topic.
Hold on, but have you guys seen the Mets pitching? Manaea is getting due $50 million the next 2 years. He's falling off a cliff. I was the guy last year telling you guys how good the Mets were, and you sat there and laughed in my face. And now this year they're falling off a cliff, and you guys are still worried about them. They're not even going to make the playoffs. Look at what's coming up for them. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're playing the Cubs. They have no more home games. They have
got
no
the
more
Marlins too, though. So that's
in
Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, but you're acting like the Marlins are.
They got 3 in the Cubs.
2000
They got
Marlins.
3 in Chicago, and then they got to go down and play the Marlins. And the Reds have the Pirates, and then they got the Brewers. So you're right that we're going to see what it looks like when it goes in that Brewers Miami series.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's going to be juicy these next 6 days. All right, we talked about this earlier. The injury bug around October that the Phillies have somewhat found themselves in. So main three being Bohm, who's back now, Sosa, who's due back Tuesday, reporting, and Trea Turner, which still question mark, looking like he's going to be back the final homestand. So, Slim, we'll start with you on this one. Are you concerned at all about all these kind of balls in the air with injuries as we're entering the playoffs?
Yeah, I am, and I think that's part of the point I'm trying to make with just making sure that we're still ready and playing high-intensity level baseball, especially if we get the bye.
Right.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. I would like to. I don't know what the current status of Turner is. I would like to see him back. Maybe just for the weekend series, a game or two. Yeah, I would like to see Stott hitting, and I would like to see somebody, whoever's playing left field that day, I would like to see the outfield hitting. Because we're going to be real messed up if Castellanos is the hottest guy this week. Right?
We still got our boy Bader, man.
But if Castellanos is hot, he's going to be starting, and then everything changes again.
What do you got for us, Bones?
Little concerned with Trea Turner just because of the nature of the injury.
Right.
With the calf, and it's happened before. But it seems like he was taking ground balls the other day before the Lumineers concert.
Yeah.
As they were setting up out there. So, and it looks like they were trying to get a couple Lehigh Valley pitchers out to Citizens Bank Park while the Phillies were out in Arizona to give him some batting practice too.
Right.
So it looks like he's on track to come this week. So just keep an eye on that. And right now, it all depends, I guess, with the weather, with the Turner injury. If you never know with the October weather, baseball with the wind and all, like the chilliness,
right,
that comes with October and playoff baseball. So tighten up a little bit more.
The hamstrings. It's a good point. And to your point, your question earlier, Slim, Bones obviously has answered it partially. So yes, they're bringing in some pitchers from the minors for Turner to get some looks. Matt Gelb mentioned that he thinks it looks like he's going to be back the final series, so that would be good if we get him back the final homestand. Bohm obviously is already back. So far, it looked good, right? I think this question is even more negative if Bohm came back and looked like he wasn't himself. The fact that he's been looking good the first series back, that's a real positive for this. But just having all those question marks, And it's not like it's like three guys who don't matter, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
our starting third baseman, our starting shortstop, and our best utility guy. So it's a concern.
Yeah, but if the way I'm looking at it, like you said earlier, one of your biggest takeaways was the defense this weekend. If we have Turner at shortstop, if we have Stott at second base, and we have Bader in center field, that's super duper strong up the middle, and I feel pretty good about that.
It is. We will continue to monitor that, but let's go to, and same thing here, boys. I want to have to get a quick little bam. Look at that. That was a quick one. So let's go around the corner here. What do you got for us?
All right. This week's segment of Around the Corner is sponsored by the Fresh Works of Port Richmond. Joe Yo and company put together a great menu. They got a new menu out. New prices, a little inflation, but
It's everywhere.
yeah. But they still put together a great menu, and it's going to be great for postseason baseball. I'm sure they're going to have specials going on for the Phillies. They do it with the Eagles right now on Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. But around the corner, we touched on a lot of it. Chris just touched on it with different schedules coming up. So, like we said, the Brewers locked into that 1 seed, right? They're three games ahead of the Phillies, basically 4 because of the tiebreaker.
Correct.
They got San Diego and Cincinnati this week, so Cincinnati's got a little tough road ahead. Phillies finished with the Fish and the return of Cody Clemens. Twins on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're the 2 seed, basically locked in, unless something drastic happens.
Right.
Dodgers, they got Arizona, who's fighting for a playoff spot, game back of that wild card spot, as we talked about. And they have to go out to Seattle, who's still fighting for a playoff spot. They're up pretty big on Houston right now. It's going to be stretched to 3 games, so they're getting close to locking up out there. Cubs, they're locked into their spot. They haven't. They got the wild card spot locked up with the 4 seed. Nobody's catching them. They got 4 against the Mets, and they got finish up with the rivalry game against the Cardinals. Padres, they're pretty much locked into the playoff with the wild card. They got Milwaukee and Arizona. So it's 3 teams within 1 game. We got the Reds. They currently have the lead. They got the tiebreaker over the Mets. And then Arizona is 1 game behind. So, like we said, this is the first time the Mets have been out of a playoff spot since April the 5th. Last week of the season, it's the first time they're out of the playoff spot, April the 5th.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Because they would have been in at least the wild card. And they had the division for most of the, not most of the year, but a good portion of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Go out to the AL. There's no divisions clinched yet in the American League. Pretty wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The Brewers didn't get that yet?
Who?
The Brewers?
AL.
Brewers
I'm
are
sorry.
in the NL.
I thought you said, I thought you said there's no other divisions yet.
No. In the AL.
Got
There's
it.
no divisions. But the Blue Jays, they're the only team that clinched a playoff berth in the AL. And they're 2 games up on the Yankees. And Boston, they're in there with the wild card. Detroit, who owned baseball most of the year, right? They're only 1 game up of the Guardians, and if they don't win the division, they might not get in the wild card, or they might not get. Yeah, if they don't win the division, they might be sitting out because they might lose the wild card.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
And they play the Guardians, right? Don't they play the Boston? And the
3 game
Guardians?
series tomorrow. They got Tyler Skubal and Gavin Williams matched up together, so that's going to be a goodie. Be on the lookout for that. Seattle, as we said, they got the 2 game lead. This is when I wrote it up. It's going to be 3 by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Toronto, they got Boston and the Rays, right? Seattle's got the Rockies and the Dodgers. Detroit has Cleveland and Boston. They're the 3 top seeds right now. Yankees would be the 4 seed. They got the White Sox and Baltimore, so they probably got the easiest schedule left of anybody in the American League. Boston, they got Toronto and Detroit, probably the hardest schedule of anybody in the American League. And Houston's got the A's and the Angels, which is pretty easy too. and then Cleveland got Detroit and Texas. So it's going to be a wild week of baseball. And this all comes like Phillies have it like wrapped up right now to where they're setting their rotations up for the playoffs. None of these teams can do this because they don't have nothing clinched yet.
Right.
So when it comes down to these wild card games, they might be throwing out like third or fourth starters in wild card games, and they might not make it to division round because then you start digging into the bullpens, and not a lot of teams have good bullpens. So it's something to keep an eye out. Like Chris is talking about Cincinnati over there, their bullpen's not a little shaky. And Hunter Green might not even pitch against the Phillies because he might pitch game 3 of a wild card game. So it's all stuff you don't know.
You don't know.
So the Phillies might be in the best spot outside of the Brewers in baseball when it comes to like this, because everybody can line up their rotation.
And look who we have coming up. You said it. We're playing two teams that have been subpar all year, so it's a good time to get some wins, to start feeling good, to get the bats going, because you don't want to be in any kind of drought and then on a break.
No, for sure.
As Devin talked about earlier with Corbin Carroll, I didn't want to touch on it because I knew this was going to be in the segment, but if Arizona gets hot, that's something we got to deal with, and he's a pain in the ass to deal with.
He's 30 for 30 guy, man.
3 straight years?
He's an I
remember, something like that.
And they beat us because he's a two-way guy, and Marte is a two-way guy. And then when you look at our guys, we're starting to get there. Our best players is probably Turner, right? And he's a two-way guy at his best. Bader, when we were hot this last month, or the last 2 months, he's been one of our better players. He's a two-way guy. I always said when we went to the World Series, when Stott took over for Didi, way back when, he was hitting the ball a little bit better. I think his first year was probably the best year he hit the ball, Stott. So I'm going to consider him a two-way guy that year. So, and then when we played the Diamondbacks, again, they had more two-way guys than us. Christian Walker being another example.
No, that's a great example there. Speaking of the Reds, we got a Reds fan in the chat tonight here, guys.
Ooh.
Lucas JB saying, let's go Reds.
Let's go Reds.
He's saying they just have to match the Mets, and they are in. He firmly believes that if the Reds make a wild card, we'll beat the Dodgers and at least compete with Philly. All right, I appreciate your respect there for us. I appreciate that. Hey, man. Put it this way. The entire city of Philadelphia will be Reds fans for the next 6 games. You can bet your ass that.
Yeah. I've been a Reds fan for the last few months.
So we're going to be Reds fans for sure. So shout out to you guys. Bones, that was a great around the corner. Anything else?
No. I think I touched
on it.
All right.
So this week we're going to because you did a great job previewing the next couple weeks. So we're just going to transition straight to Slim Pick'ems here.
Sounds good.
I'm going to go right into this going. Bam.
All right, welcome to Slim Pick'ems, brought to you by Wilmerster Dental Associates and D-Town Dental. They are miles ahead of the competition, just like Slim and his partners at the 500 are miles ahead of the competition. Now, we hit a big shark today. We rode out with the Toronto Blue Jays. They brought us home. Our record for the year is 235 and 300. The only play tomorrow is the Brewers for 3 units, okay? The line's not out. That's the only play. This is where it gets juicy. This is what we were just talking about. This is where I said to Bones, listen to me, brother. Months ago, I saw the Mets collapse coming. And I said, what would Michael Berry do? And you know what he would do? He would invest in shorting the Mets. And that's exactly what Slim did. Slim went to Bones and said, Bones, what do you guys think? Who should I pick to help short the Mets? And you guys can see the numbers there. They're the odds, plus 5,000, 6,000. They're juicy odds. The only one I don't have is the D-back. So no doubt I'm going to lose a couple of these. But as soon as they get in, Bones, this is the play. And this is what I told you. I can decide how I want to attack it. But I decided already. The best way would be to take, if let's say the Reds get in, they play the Dodgers, I would lay 20 units at minus 200 to win back 10. I would double what I bet. So that becomes a plus 200 play. Yeah, it's not as good as plus 5,000, but the Reds didn't get any further. As they progress, that gets bigger and bigger. So long story short, we're cheering for the Reds. If the Reds get in, we're looking to keep the short going via the series first. So as soon as the series plays come out at the weekend, that's where we got to make a move to solidify our short position. We can decide then how we want to take it. I think though, if the Reds get in, they're going to be hot. We're going to be cautious and maybe try to see if this can mature all the way to about a full 200 units. Because, like I said, if we put 20 on, we're going to be down to 230 come the National League Divisional Series, right? And then it's going to be closer. It's not going to be another minus 200. And then as the Reds continue to be dogs and move on, it's going to get interesting. So that's what it was. I hope you could keep up with the math. I know Bones definitely couldn't, but I know my partners are smarter than that.
Hedging, admitting you lost.
No.
I love it. I love it. That was a good one there, Slim. Let's go back to the main screens here. So, guys, I'm not going to lie. I like this stat so much that I'm going to remind the Red Riders here as we close before on this day in Phillies history. So, guys, if you are still here, if you're new, if you're an existing Red Rider, thank you. Please hit that subscribe button. You know it helps. We've been closing in on 1,400 subscribers. 9 months ago, we didn't even know how to do a podcast, and here we are, 1,400 subscribers later. So shout out to you guys. So I'm going to remind you of this stat. I'm going to kick it over to Slim for a closing remark, and then I'm going to let Bones close it down. So of our last 15 series, the Philly have won 11 of those series. So this is not the same baseball team that we were last year when we were limping into the playoffs. This is a winning baseball team. We still got some of the best pitching. We got a new bat in Harrison Bader, who's been arguably our best player at times over the past month, which we didn't have last year as an added arm, right? Excuse me, an added bat. So this is a different baseball team. It's something you can be excited about. Slim, what do you got for me?
Bader is a gift. I hope he's the gift that keeps giving. Beginning of the year, we said we wanted a two-way center fielder. If all things are hitting, he's a two-way center fielder, and that's going to – I think the offense I've seen since July can carry us to a World Series, even with the pitch and depth not being where we want it to be. All right, I believe that. That's all. With that, one more point. You're right. We have gone thank you everyone who shares, likes our stuff, watches our stuff, interacts. I'm feeling like Slim Scorsese. We got the cameras now. We got the lights here blinding us, and it's only going to get bigger and better after Phillies win the World Series this year. So please stay with us and tell your friends to say what's up.
Well said there. And Slim, I'm so glad you said that because you reminded me of another thing I wanted to bring up. So, guys, at this point, the Phillies have 6 more games at the end of the year, right? 2 series. The final game of the final day of the year is 9/28, September 28th. Based off how everything looks right now, the first game of the playoffs is October 4th. So that's a 5-game rest between the two series. So between now and October 4th, we're going to make an announcement of where we're going to do different watch parties, different events. We're probably going to go to a game or two if we can. But stay tuned because we're going to have a really exciting Red October lined up for you. Bones, take it away.
All right. On this day, Phillies history, 1964, the Phillies lost their first of 10 straight games when the Reds' Chico Reese stole home to break a scoreless tie, starting one of the biggest collapses in MLB history.
Ooh, wow. Speaking of the Reds.
And the Mets, because the Mets were the ones that came back and beat the Phillies in that for that playoff spot. 1981, Steve Carlton struck out future Hall of Famer Andre Dawson with the bases loaded in the third inning to claim the all-time NL strikeout lead with 3,118 Ks.
Damn.
Phillies wind up losing that game 1-0 in 17 innings.
Wow. That's insane.
Yep.
We haven't seen a marathon game in a long time.
Chase Utley and Pedro, or this date, 2008, Chase Utley and Pedro Feliz both hit home runs. It's the team's 17th consecutive game with at least a home run. Longest streak since 2002.
Wow.
All right. Last one, and this has got to be done multiple times already since then. 2014, Marlon Byrd struck out twice in Oakland, bringing the season total to 180. Ryan Howard reached the day before 180 strikeouts. Became the first teammates to record 180 strikeouts in the same season.
Wow.
We got one more prediction. I want everybody to get a prediction real fast.
Pain.
How many?
You're frozen like the Joker, dude. This is so creepy. Are you even there anymore? Is this
How
a
many
bit?
home runs is Schwarber's going to have?
Dude, this is weird.
56.
That's one thing. 56. I'll go. Man, you went 56. Man, that's a good number. I guess I have to go 57. Damn, you took my number.
55. 5-5.
Yesterday was, I think Howard hit his 58th.
Oh,
I
really?
think that's what they said in the broadcast today or something like that.
Was that your last?
Yeah, that
Almost
was it.
day? Okay, cool. That was a strong day. All right, guys. If you are still here, hit that subscribe button. Go Phils, and we will see you next week.